If you've seen my review for Scream 6, you'll know I was a massive fan of that movie, so far to the point where I actually considered it one of the best of the series. And as such, I was looking forward to Scream 7. Well, if you're on social media and you follow the news like I do, you'll know that shit has hit the fan to the point where I don't actually believe Scream 7 is even going to happen. So this all comes from the fact that a few days ago, Mellissa Barrera, who of course plays the lead of the series, of the new series at least, with the core 4, Sam Carpenter. And what happened in that news, or what has basically transpired, is the fact she has been fired from the movie over so-called controversial comments, essentially calling for a ceasefire in the conflict currently going on between Israel and Palestine. From there was a huge backlash on social media with people outcrying that, you know, this isn't something she should be fired for, this is hardly controversial at all, and people were wondering what was going to happen with Scream 7 going forward, and even some were calling for the other remaining actors of the film to not return. And well, it looks like that's actually happened, because now Jenna Ortega, of course, the second lead of this new story, and a huge draw for audiences to the recent Scream movies, has also left the project. Deadline first reported it, and they are calling it scheduling conflicts as the reason she is not returning. But if you know Hollywood, you'll know this is basically the oldest trick in the book, and it's almost as much bullshit as when you say an actor's leaving over creative differences. So what do you do with Scream 7 now? Of course, you've no longer got Sidney Prescott as a character in these movies because the studio refused to pay Neve Campbell a reasonable and justified amount. You've now lost Sam Carpenter, another lead character in these movies, and you've lost Tara and Jenna Ortega. At this point, to me, you pull the plug on this movie. The storyline is botched. It's now mangled no matter how you try and go forward without especially these three leads. I now don't believe that any of the other core 4 cast members like Mason Gooding will return. And I think it's just one gigantic mess. And even if you now backtrack and you rehire Mellissa, you rehire Jenna Ortega, you bring back Neve Campbell, pay her what she deserves, the damage has kind of already been done. And this movie, even if it gets made with or without them, is now sort of going to be the black sheep of the franchise. It is beyond tainted, and anyone who signs on, even if the director, Christopher Landon, who I was excited to see do a Scream 7, remains on the project, it's basically just tampering and jumping into a poisoned bed. I think Scream 6, while it was never meant to be the end of the series or this new series of Scream movies, I think the ending to that film does actually sort of, in a weird way, wrap up the storylines, despite it, again, never meaning to. So, I'm like, when I rewatch that film now, when I rewatch that scene, it's like, this is weirdly a fitting, if not anticlimactic ending to Sam and Tara's storyline, the core 4, the Ghostface legacy and character, Richie's story, everything, basically. So I don't think Scream 7's going to go ahead. I don't think if it does go ahead, a lot of people, especially in the Scream community, will feel comfortable watching and supporting as they would have done if none of this mess would have happened. And I'm interested to see where they go next. I don't particularly care where they go next because in my eyes, this is now done, this is now tainted, it's poisoned, my interest is gone, my excitement is the bottom of the barrel, and I think it should be cancelled, and I think it's going to be cancelled. At this rate, probably within the next few weeks. This is a public PR disaster. This is a disaster for any potential storylines that we could have saw. And it's a disaster for anyone involved in the project now. And I feel bad for anyone contractually obligated to stick it through if they, of course, again, see it through. I think the studio Spyglass and Paramount have destroyed such a successful series, and I don't think people are going to forgive them anytime soon. That's just my thoughts on the Scream 7 debacle. Jenna going, of course, Nev probably not returning for it, and of course Mellissa, who is the real victim in all of this, being dropped from it. It's a disaster. It's really upsetting, it's disappointing, and it's disheartening to feel that this is probably now the end of the Scream lineage for at least a long time, at least 5 to 10 years probably. It really does suck because I love this series so much. It's my favourite horror series of the whole thing, especially quality wise. It stuck it through more than any other series that I can think of off the top of my head. And I was excited to see it through and to continue with it. And now that it's been literally ripped away from not only the actors and the characters and the justice of the storyline, but also the viewers, also us, diehard Scream fans, it's a travesty. It really does suck. And there's not a whole lot really to say now. You know, it's sort of, they've lost the actors, they've lost the consumers, and they've lost the love of the fans, of me, of I'm sure a lot of you. It really does suck. If Scream 6 does turn out to be the end of their storylines and the end of the franchise for a good while, it's a beautiful yet tragic ending to it all. But anyway, I just wanted to jump in, voice my thoughts, sort of vent about this stupid handling from the studios. This is now the second and third time that they've neglected one of their female leads and their stars, and it's really, again, disappointing and disheartening. What do you guys think? How do you feel about Scream 6 now potentially, in a beautiful yet tragic way, being the end of this new Scream lineage? What do you think about Scream 7 if they do go ahead with it? Would you watch? Do you want it to be scrapped at this point? Is there even a real way forward without these characters returning and these storylines being continued? I don't know, but I want to know what you think. Thanks so much for watching this video. You guys have been awesome, and I'll hopefully see you again soon with maybe more uplifting news. Take it easy, guys. Bye.